At UFC 319, 2 fights have been cancelled at the last minute, one of them involving King Green, formerly known as Bobby Green. Green was scheduled to face Diego Ferreira, but he pulled out for undisclosed reasons. According to the UFC, this matchup will be rescheduled for a later date. Ferreira told BJPenn.com that his weight cut was going smoothly and that he was already down to 162 pounds. Green hasn't made an official public statement, but late last night he posted a cryptic Instagram story saying no one will understand my pain, my strength, or journey. Additionally, the Ultimate Fighter finale fight between Daniil, Donchenko, and Rodrigo Sezinando has also been cancelled. Sezinando reportedly suffered an ankle injury. The UFC stated that this fight will be rescheduled for Noche UFC on September 13th. Khamzat Chimaev says he's open to fighting Alex Pereira, whether Pereira wins or loses in the rematch with Magomed Ankalaev. The rematch is set for the light heavyweight title at UFC 320 on October 4th.
Do you see yourself getting the belt and then going to fight Alex Pereira?
Well, it depends if he wins, so we'll see. Actually, if he wins, if he lost, if they give us good money, I want to fight that guy, so why not?
Dricus Du Plessis says it will be hard for Khamzat Chimaev to figure out his fight style because even he doesn't fully understand it himself.
He's fought a middleweight on a 10 days notice. He's fought Robert Whittaker, which obviously that was a great performance that earned him this title shot. But if you look at the size difference, just the size difference, just take that in consideration between me and a guy like Robert Whittaker, it's not the same. And then now he's coming into this fight for 5 rounds. I've proven that I can go crazy for 1 round and I can go crazy for 5 rounds. And that's what makes my fight style unique. Trying to figure out my fight style, that's going to be hard because I'm not 100% sure how it works. So it's going to be hard for people to figure this out. Whatever I'm doing, it is calculated, but I don't fight with your system that you just look, this guy as a good jab. I fight to what my opponent is doing, and I believe that's the future of this sport. I can't go in there and say I'm going to take this guy down, or I'm going to grapple with him, or strike with him. Whatever happens in the fight, that's what makes you a champion, is adapting to whatever you see and doing what you have to do. You can't, and I think that's what makes me different. I'll have a whole fight camp just for striking, and when the opportunity is there, I'm taking a guy down, and the other way around. So I think that makes it different. It makes it different, and I think my power gets overlooked a lot of times, you know, physical strength and punch power, which can be but I think, you know, even with him, maybe he punches really, really hard. The one thing that sets me apart from every single person on the roster, and definitely in my weight, is the will to win and refusal to give up. There's no man that can break me. Mentally, I will never break. So that is what sets me apart, and that's what makes me a world champion.
Michael Venom Paige is set to face Jared Kennonier this weekend at UFC 319. Normally a welterweight, MVP took this fight at middleweight since the division is tied up with Islam Makhachev moving up to challenge Jack Della Maddalena for the title. He says he feels stronger carrying the extra weight, but admits that natural middleweights are used to being that size and will probably be able to absorb more of his shots compared to welterweights.
It makes it, obviously it makes cutting weight so much easier. I'm under zero stress. I feel stronger. I feel like I'm carrying more power. So that helps. The thing, the negatives is everybody else is naturally that strong, naturally hit that hard. So sometimes even when I'm landing certain shots, I'm like, if that hit a welterweight, they'll be on skaty legs right now. Whereas a middleweight, I'm gonna have to find that shot 3 and 4 times before I get the results that I want. But at the same time, because I'm new to middleweight, I haven't really spent enough time to kind of develop my body in the way it needs to be to truly be a middleweight. I've got the skill to do it, but not necessarily the frame as of yet. But that's what, if I make the decision that I'm going to stay up, then I'll adjust my training camp.
Daniil Cormier has started lifting weights after wrestling Khamzat Chimaev yesterday. If you missed the footage, it didn't go so well for DC.
Охренеть! Охренеть! Вы видите, что он творит? Здесь нельзя это делать. Виноват мужик. Охренеть! Что это нахер было? Меня впервые в жизни так подняли. Что это было? Боже мой, вот ты силен. Сколько ты весишь? Короче, ты готов, да? Он очень сильный. Да я сам удивился. Брат, это вообще что-то с чем-то.
DC posted this photo to his Instagram today. In the caption he wrote, "After the way Khamzat lifted me, I figured I needed to lift more." Jean Silva says he plans to play with Diego Lopez's emotions during fight week. The two are set to fight at Noche UFC on September 13th. Speaking to mmainsaytss.com, Silva said, "I am not going to fight him. I'm gonna beat him up. I'm beating him up. That's it. It's a win. One of the things that excites me is just getting that bag as well, because it's rising. It's getting bigger every time. It's just an opportunity to get a new watch here, maybe get a new car, maybe get a new apartment. So that's one of the reasons why we fight as well. So it does excite me because that's a good, different kind of bag out there. But as far as the fight or being there with Diego Lopez, there are some things that are for sure I'm gonna get translated up in that octagon afterwards. It's that Dana White is going to clap. It's that Bruce Buffer is going to announce me as the winner, that I want another fight. Maybe Volkanovski will be there and come up or be able to watch me and say, hey, he's next. That's what's gonna happen. Those things are for sure. So I would give him a 10. I'll give him a 10 because you know what? Throughout the week or before, in all of his interviews, he said, if I win, he said, if I win against Volkanovski. And that's what he did. He went out there and the if was there. So he delivered. He had a very great fight. He handled his own business and it was just an if in Volkanovski for every interview. It was, I'm going to win. I'm gonna be champion again. I'll get that belt back. And that's what he did. So I'll give Lopez a 10 because he delivered on his promise. That if is part of it. That if is part of his life. Just like now, he says, listen, if I win, he's been talking about this for the fight against me, that if he wins, he feels like he could fight one more time than for the title. It's part of his vocabulary and it's part of his life. I give him my time because he delivered on a promise on just being if. Diego's a very emotional guy and I'm going to love playing with his emotions during that fight week. Arman Serukian says that if he wins the lightweight title, he plans to wait for Islam Makhachev. The two previously fought back in 2019, with Islam winning via unanimous decision, and Arman is eager to avenge that loss.
You go get this belt from Ilya, you go get the fight from Ilya, what happens next?
I'm gonna defend as much as possible. I wanna be the greatest fighter in the world because I know how I work, how I dedicate for this sport, and I know I gotta be the best in this sport because I love it so much, and I give myself to this sport, and it's gotta pay off.
You get the belt, you beat Ilya, you move up, you fight Islam. We get the fight.
I'll be waiting for him in 155 division.
You wait for him to come back down.
Yeah.
Kamaru Usman got a bit annoyed with Henry Cejudo on the latest episode of the Pound for Pound podcast when Henry was giving his prediction for Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. Henry labeled Dricus as the king of Africa, which seemed to rub Usman the wrong way. Usman also gave his own prediction for the fight, expressing doubts that Dricus will be able to handle Khamzat's wrestling.
I do believe that DDP is going to get the job done in the later rounds. Even if it goes decision, I am going with the king of Africa, DDP.
You know, you had me until you said some stupid things like that.
Why?
You had me until you said that. Anywho, I don't understand why you would. I don't understand why you would say that people counted. Listen, Khamzat Chimaev has been able to go in there, and we said this. You know what? You came on this show and you said that Robert Whittaker was going to be able to stop the takedown and go out there and beat Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat went in there and made it look easy. You said he made it look easy. Not to mention, he went in there against a wiry Kevin Holland who can scramble. He went out there and made it look easy. We saw the last time he wrestled. We saw the last time he fought a wrestler. That was Derek Brunson. And we saw how that looked in the first couple of rounds. You know, Derek just, eventually, I believe, gassed out, and DDP does what he does best. And that's DDP will not give up. That's what we love about him. He will not give up. DDP will continue to try. And if DDP continues to try And if Khamzat Chimaev hasn't done his work with that cardio, then I see DDP definitely turning this one around. But for me, this is a very, very tough one, but I think Khamzat Chimaev might actually go out there and get it done.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to MMA Analysts and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. See you in the next video.